So what, we watch anime. So what, we play League. We're just having fun. We don't care who sees. So what, we stay in. It don't bother me. Living young, pale, and nerdy.
Hello and welcome to the Retin Entertainment Podcast, episode 335 for January 30th, 2022. My name is Nathan Reitz-Bruth. Joining me this week, we have a bunch of people. We have Andrew Rowan McFain.
Oh man, you started with me. Why?
I'm going from worst to best.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. And next we have Connor, the cyberpunk monk Besh.
We need a new opening.
We do. If somebody wants to make one, I put a feeler out on Twitter and nobody bit. I was like, I'll pay you. I will give you money.
I will give you
something.
one golden shiny dollar coin.
You posted you posted a tweet and then did hashtag paid and that was the feeler.
That was basically it, yeah. Hashtag exposure is what I did. I think that's the one that everyone likes, right?
Why is nobody biting?
Exactly. And then we are also joined by Nicole Nick Lotus Robinson Carroll.
I'm the best?
Yes. Still waiting.
Oh, no, Nathan's the best.
Well, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Hidely hoodly there.
Yeah. I already introduced myself. I'm still waiting
fair enough.
I'm still waiting for you to add that third last name. So get on that.
Nah. I don't think I'm gonna add another one. I get enough.
Oh,
There is actually a law in Germany that says you cannot have more than two last names because, as Germans tend to do, shit got out of hand fast.
In Montreal, if you get married and you are a woman, you can't change your last name. So
That's weird.
Yeah, so if you get married in Montreal, you don't change your name. I don't know why.
I imagine you get the option to. Maybe it's just not as common.
No, it's illegal. I think it's all of Quebec, not just Montreal, but in Quebec. Because I have a friend who lives there, and I mentioned her getting married and changing her last name, and she's like, "No, it's illegal here." And I'm like, "What?
Huh.
No." And so I looked it up. It is illegal in Quebec to change your last name when you get married.
I learned something new today.
Yeah.
I guess
And
they
of
were
course-
just like they already have enough paperwork to do. They don't have to go through all the legal procedures of changing your name.
Yeah, they'd
That
have
was my
to print
excuse
out.
for not changing my name for a long time.
It takes a lot of effort, and then do you have to get all of your documentation changed, like your ID you have to get changed, and then your passport? It doesn't. I don't know.
My brother's
and then,
wife, who's in medical practice, was like, "Yeah, I'm not changing my name." Do you know how much work is involved in that? It's kind of a big deal to get all that shit formalized.
Yeah.
Well, and being in IT, I'm sure Connor and Aroa know this. When somebody changes their name, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
my-
lot of people I know in my professional organization where their usernames are still like their previous marriage name, their maiden name. That's the word for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if they get
I still have
divorced.
my unmarried name on some stuff just because I haven't gotten around to changing it and it hasn't presented any problems.
'Cause
Sometimes transferring over an exchange tag is hard.
where I used
really
to
is.
work, they treated it as if your employment was terminated and then reinstated instantly. So you lost access to everything, you lost all your documents and all
Are you
that.
ready to start a new life? Here, you need a new authenticator app.
Yeah, it is really annoying. Like, changing the name in Active Directory isn't that hard, but Exchange is kind of a bitch. They haven't really made it super easy to do that on the back end systems, because typically when you set up a profile like that in the back end, it's never going to change, and that's how they designed it. And in the 90s when they created all that, they're not like, "Oh, we're going to make it so it's easy to change your name if you get married." They're just like, "It's the same. It's the same
It
always."
works.
Yep.
We're
Why would we ever
Microsoft.
need to
We
change
own
that
everything
app?
anyway. We don't have to try.
Data
Yeah.
is immutable, and it always stays the same.
Exactly. So,
And that's why NFTs are great.
they are.
Right.
And now, of course, I'm your host, Nathan Reitz-Bruth. We're going to start, and we're going to ask where we can find you and what games you have played this week. So where can we find you and what games have you played this week, Nicole?
Well, you can find my primary work with Nevada Public Radio at knpr.org. I'm the afternoon anchor there and do some reporting when I'm not out with COVID, which I have been for the past week. I'm also on Twitter at KNPR and I am Nick Lotus Plays on YouTube. I haven't updated it in a while, but I've got some music stuff, some video game geeky stuff, some pet stuff. So, it's something if you're bored, if you feel like checking it out. But in any case, the games I've been playing today, I've been playing a lot of games because, as I said, my husband, child, and I have all been sick with COVID the last week. And so I picked up Animal Crossing again. I started a whole new island.
Oh,
Yeah,
ambitious.
indeed. Well, it kind of came from previously when I was, because we have only one Switch, and I thought my husband wanted to play and start his own island, so I deleted my other island so he could play, and then he didn't ever want to play.
Oh no.
So that's why I was like, okay, I'll just start a new island.
I mean, the land was already paved at that point, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And let's see, also been playing quite a bit of Mario Kart 8 because my son likes to watch me play that. It's one of the few things he'll stop and pay attention to for longer than 5 seconds. It's like, stop terrorizing the cat. Come watch Yoshi win a race.
There are a lot of flashing colors in that game.
Yeah. Oh, he loves Mario Kart. It's one of his favorite things to watch. Let's see what else. And
my mom
then
did
my
that when I was a kid. She would put on professional wrestling. It's the only thing I would sit down and watch and be quiet. Yeah.
All right.
This is a tried and true secret from one mother to another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, well, my son is obsessed with cars, anything with wheels. But let's see, as far as
I did like
other
trains
games,
a lot as a kid, so I guess I
Yeah.
understand
Me too.
that.
Trains are cool. I used to love the little train we had that went around the Christmas tree when I was a kid, but that's totally another
Yeah.
tangent. Let's see. My husband and I are almost finished with It Takes Two. We finally picked that up after it won, Game of the Year. And I mean, it's fun. It definitely, the co-op mechanics are nice, and I feel like the pandemic really gave it a chance to shine. It's yet to be seen if it overstays its welcome. There's a few things that are getting a little bit grating, more so than fun. So we'll see. I think we're close to the end, though.
I wanted to play that with because the previous game, A Way Out, Roa and I did that in one sitting. And
Oh yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and I wanted to do that with It Takes Two, and when it came out, I was like, all right, I think I'll pick it up, and then Roa and I or Connor and I can play that. And it's like 15 to 20 hours, and I'm like, what? I can't do that in one sitting. Like 6 or 7 hours, it's about right. So I have yet to pick that up. And getting Aroa or Connor to play through a game in multiple sittings is kind of difficult.
Getting me to play a game at all.
Yeah, and it's also like because Connor's time schedule is way different than mine, and he also
we sure are on different parts of the country. Also, 15 to 20 hours of divorce trauma does not exactly sound like something I want to sit through.
Oh, it's
No.
fine. It's fine.
Well, I mean, the dialogue in the story, I don't know. The romance book is kind of annoying, if I'm honest. But I mean, the narrative actually moves along at a decent pace. Some of the gameplay mechanics can be a little bit annoying, but it doesn't, get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm done with this game. If that makes sense. I mean, it's fun, but there's also some mechanics that are either repetitive or just annoying.
So, question: would you say that is your 2021 game of the year?
I don't think so. I mean, gosh, I'm trying to remember anything.
we
I'm
spoke
so
about that.
behind on games. I hardly ever play new stuff anymore because I'm always trying to catch up on stuff I haven't played yet or
I
finished.
mean, even like compared to Animal Crossing, goodness. Did
yeah,
Animal
but that
Crossing
came
come
out-
in 2021 or is that 2020?
That was 2020.
yeah, that was
I-
2020 because it was basically the game that saved people from the pandemic.
That's right.
Yeah.
I rescind my insult.
You
The
can
pandemic.
be forgiven for not understanding time for the last couple of years.
It's all
'cause-
just kind of a
Exactly.
blur, homie.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last game that I played this past week, we started the new Ratchet and Clank game, but we haven't gotten very far in that. Passing the
Oh yeah.
controller back and forth.
Edge of Time or whatever the new one for
Time
the
drift
PS5.
or whatever.
It's Rift in Time, I think.
Rift in
Yeah.
Time.
You managed to get a PS5?
That's the impressive part.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I mean, it wasn't. I don't know what Christmas magic my husband worked, but that's we got we got a PS5 for Christmas. So now I'm catching up on all the PS5 games we haven't gotten to play. Like I said, honestly I think my game of 2021, even though it came out in 2020, I didn't get to play it till 2021 because I didn't get the PS5 till Christmas, is Bug Snacks. I think I said that last time we
You
were
did.
talking.
You did. I have a PS5.
You also have a 6-foot hole in your backyard that we don't talk about.
Oh dear.
Yeah, we don't mention these things. But yes, I have a PS5. I also have a 3070. I've been pretty lucky with those actually.
Yeah, we know. You just give money to scalpers all day long. Yeah.
No, I didn't. I only paid $600 for the 3070.
Only.
Yeah,
Only.
and I bought the PS5. Actually, it was retail price for that card. So and considering the 3070 is like $1,000 still on eBay, I did pretty good. And then the PS5 I got directly from Newegg. I just won one of the Newegg shuffles and was able to buy it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Connor, you're the middle one. You're the middle child again. What games have you played, and where can we find you?
You could find me at a Roadout website where all of my relevant social media links are on there. If you're really good, you can get it on Reeton's Discord and see where I post all my art and stuff. I was thinking of maybe it'd be nice to have a place to host that stuff. Probably not, but it's fun to have.
I have.
Make a
I mean,
Tumblr.
No, not a Tumblr.
you do realize I have a website, right? And I can give you a page.
I mean like somewhere that people will go, Nathan.
Oh no, not there. Yeah, nobody goes there. I don't even go there.
But yeah, all the links that you need to find me are at a Roadout website. I've been thinking about doing more painting on stream because, goodness gracious, there are just no video games for me to play right now. I'm going through the video game blues. And then let's talk about the games that I have played. I've played a decent amount of Space Station 13 and in brief bursts a decent amount of Final Fantasy 12. And I think that's it.
Oh yeah, and you played through. Like I think we mentioned this. You played through 12 a
Like
year and a half ago.
2 years ago, 3 years
Yeah.
ago, or something like that. It wasn't too long ago. I think it was
Yeah.
like right before the pandemic. No, it was even a little before then. So I mean, it's been a little bit of time now.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Why did you not pick up a different Final Fantasy game if you're gonna replay Final Fantasy?
That is because mutual friend of you and I, and eventually Nicole here, Alex, is going to be playing a game for us in real lives, where we are kind of picking up in between that game and the tactics games, which take place in the same world. And I wanted it to be fresh for that. And when we're talking about places and locations, I have a more precise understanding of what's going on. Like, gun to my head, I could tell you the basics of what's going on in that game. Empire bad, space pirates, or not space pirates, sky pirates are doing the hero thing to beat the big bad and save the day. But there's
Star
a lot
Wars?
of political intrigue going on,
Yeah, the story in that was not amazing. I think.
Yeah, I think it is amazing. I just think it requires a lot more paying attention than maybe even the way that I'm doing it right now, which is in 10 to 15 minute bursts before bed.
That's
But-
true.
I'm giving it a shot. I'm doing the things I didn't do last time. The hunts. I'm making an effort to at least pay attention when cutscenes are going on.
Are there any specific links you want to point out on a Row.dot website, or did you already do that?
I want everybody here to stop what they are doing immediately and go find Clinton's Core Classics: A Rise of the Rune Lords First Edition Actual Play Podcast. If you're on Spotify, leave it a 5-star review and leave a comment that just says "I love it, it's great" or whatever.
Can't do it.
You can't do it?
Can't leave a comment on Spotify.
Oh, you're right. But you know where
silly
you can leave a
biscuit.
comment is iTunes, where you could leave it a 5-heart review or whatever the hell it is. and you could leave a comment that says, "This is great and I love it and you should listen to it." And that way, I guess leaving a comments is like one of the most important things for the AdSense as to whether or not people even see these things.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, I would be appreciative. We'll read it because I guess that's what people usually do, or not if you don't want us to.
If
Whatever.
you say not to read it, I'm still gonna read it.
Nathan will still read it. I will respect
It's a
whatever.
public forum. There's no respect here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm willing to try respect. Give respect a chance is all I'm saying.
Yeah. We're gonna move on and we're gonna talk the last one. Roa, where can we find you and what games have you played this week?
Well, as you might have guessed from the name, Aroa.website. It's got all the links to stuff. You should go to my Twitch, somebody, please.
I occasionally I'm sorry, you play bad games.
Well, that was going to be my segue into, I finished Illbleed this week.
Oh yeah, that was the Dreamcast game.
Yeah, that game's fucking weird. And apparently I have to beat it again to get the true ending, which I hate that.
I never do
when-
that. I hate it.
I hate, I watched a speed run of it recently, and apparently you can beat it in about an hour and a half, as long as you know where everything is, which all the traps in each of the levels are randomly generated from one of 3 different patterns, so I ain't doing that. But I'm really curious as to what the true ending is, so I might have to go back through and do it all again.
Now, have you ever considered just watching the true ending?
No.
I mean, if you don't want to,
No.
it's there and it's available.
No.
It's a tool for you to utilize if you so wish to.
No.
The first game I ever played on Twitch and actually beat was Heavy Rain. And so after I beat it, I just went and watched all of the endings on YouTube on stream.
Now, is that a
that
game
makes
that you can stream? I thought it showed a booba.
No, you put it on mature, it's fine.
Okay.
You can't
I
show.
streamed it.
Yeah, you can't show your own boobs, and there are, of course, games that are banned, like Hatred, and stuff that are banned from Twitch. So you'd want to check out the banned list. But I believe Heavy Rain, because it's in the game and it's artfully done, and not the game isn't just about sex.
An
Yeah,
artfully
the
done
key thing-
8-minute shower scene.
Yeah, the key thing is that the nudity has to not be like a major part of the gameplay.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a thing that's there probably so that David Cage could be like, look at me, I'm an artist. I made a thing with nudity in it.
Yeah.
Millions of 12-year-olds who got a PS3 for their 2013 or whatever Christmas. Minds were blown.
I refuse to believe that a 13-year-old managed to get that far into that game without wanting to throw their PS3 in the garbage.
Jason!
Just
Um,
man.
So anyway, what other games did you play?
I mean, not a lot. I started playing Shin Megami Tensei 5 again because I got bored of Pokemon.
Yeah.
As people may know, I was one of those horrible, evil people who got the leaked copy of Pokemon Arceus, whatever, however you pronounce it. And I do think that game's fun, but I came to realize that, man, I would really prefer if there was some kind of engaging plot going on right now. And then I realized, oh yeah, Shin Megami Tensei exists, so I started playing that instead because it's just Pokemon, but the story's better.
As I understand, is if you like Pokemon, Shin Megami Tensei is a pretty damn good experience.
Yeah, like if you're tired of Pokemon being for babbies, definitely consider playing Shin Megami Tensei, because like it takes the collectible sort of concept and then like combines that with the Digimon thing where you merge Digimon together, because it has that too.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say like it's like, because Persona is more like Digimon.
I was about to say, can you clarify for me if Shin Megami Tensei and Persona are adjacent in the same universe? Are they totally separate? Because I feel like
They're
there's
in the
some
same
kind of connection there.
universe. They're in the same universe.
Well, sort of. They're in the same universe insofar as like the same demon designs show up in the same places, but like they're technically considered not canonical with each other.
Okay.
So there like
'Cause
aren't any
what-
characters that cross over or anything.
Only the demons. You get
okay.
some demons from Shin Megami Tensei in Persona as personas. But like I really think that that's more of a they just wanted to reuse a lot of the same art assets to tell a very different kind of story, and then they just kept that motif going throughout both series. Shin Megami Tensei is a very different feel. There's a lot of crossover with like real religious icons, and the story. I'm not gonna say it's a lot darker because I know that there's some really heavy shit that happens in Persona as well, but like there's some pretty crazy stuff
I mean,
I know that happens in Megami Tensei.
in Persona 5, they have like a teacher who rapes a student.
Yeah, no, I know.
Persona 5 has some rough stuff in it. But Persona 5 is my only experience with the universe of Persona and Shin Megami Tensei. But I really,
Yeah.
really liked Persona 5.
And we're going to move on and continue talking about the games, but I want to tell you, I believe it's coming to Switch. It appears that Persona 4 Golden is coming to Switch, and you can get Persona 4 Golden on Steam right now, and the base price for Persona 4 Golden is $20. So I don't know if it's included in a sale.
I've heard a lot of good things about Persona 4 Golden. I didn't play far enough into it, I guess, to get to the part where it stops being annoying. But I also know that like the feel of Persona is a little too far on the uplifting side for me. It feels way too much like a teenage anime kind of thing for me. And Shin Megami Tensei and Megami Tensei as a franchise in general appeals a lot more to the teenage edgelord in me. So I feel like that's why I'm gravitating more towards that.
That makes sense. I'm just saying, if you're interested in Persona series, Persona 4 Golden on Steam is probably the best way to play it right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Anyway, last game that you played? I assume it's last game.
Did I have something else? Did I say I had something else?
I thought
He doesn't
you
play
did.
World of Warcraft anymore.
Oh
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have that anymore.
Good for you.
At least not yet. I'm sure I'm gonna be dragged back into it at some point. But
yeah, when I start it, when it comes on Game Pass.
I've been spending a lot of time organizing my ROM collection though, so that's taken up a lot of my time.
Oh, yeah.
While we're on mics here, real quick, I have been like nostalgia craving to play Virtual Boy again. Is there a way I could do that on my VR headset?
On your VR headset?
Yeah. They have an emulator.
Oh,
I
really missed the Wario game. The Mario tennis game was the shit. The Tetris game was great, and it's a shame that I'm looking at this headset immediately to my left, and I'm just like, I could go back. There's got to be a way. Someone surely has already done the hard part of this for me.
Why isn't my VR headset only red and black?
There's something called Virtual Boy Go.
Is that for like mobile phones?
It looks like it is a VR emulator. But yes, they have Virtual Boy emulators.
For side quests. So I mean, I will look into this in my own time.
You might look at EMU VR. I don't know if they have anything specific for Virtual Boy, but I know that that's a project that's entirely focused around doing emulation in a VR headset.
Virtual Boy was awesome, you guys.
It was a system, so we're gonna move on.
Pretty good.
And I'm going to talk about where you can find me. You can find me on a row.website, but what I want to tell you is you can find me on Twitch Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. I play games on there all the time. I play way too many games is what I do. I played 135 hours of Pathfinder, which was a long game. And then
Man, why don't you have more viewers on there?
I don't know. Next week I'm gonna watch paint dry and see how many viewers I get from that. I'm also on YouTube, youtube.com/Reeton or Reeton Entertainment. And then you can, of course, find this podcast, Reeton Podcast, everywhere. We're on Spotify. We're on Stitcher. We're on iTunes. And we're on Amazon. I don't know if you can do ratings on Amazon, but we're on Amazon. So you can listen everywhere. And I believe we're on Google Podcasts. Is that still a thing?
Podcast on Amazon.
Huh? They have podcasts and they have them on Amazon, and we're on there.
No one listens to them on there. Why? Whatever.
Yeah.
Why is everyone getting in on the podcast game 20 years after they were popular?
I don't
I've
know.
just looked myself up on Amazon and I see my product. Let's see if I never thought to do this before. It doesn't look like I could rate it though. Bum.
Oh, darn it all. Anyway, games I played this week, fairly short list. I played some Temtem. It is definitely a Pokemon clone, and it's pretty good. They have a it's very much a single player story, and you just happen to have other Pokemon or Temtem trainers or whatever going around that you can trade with or talk to. But it's I from what I gather at the very end of the game, after you're done with the story, then that's when you start doing the PvP and other content that is in the game. But right now, I'm just playing it as a normal Pokemon game where I'm going through the story and catching Pokemon.
Yeah, you think about it, that's how Pokemon tends to work anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like you get through the main storyline, and then after that, you go and grind up your favorites to go play with other people in the real world.
Well, yeah, and this one, I'm at a point in the story where you get into they have airships. You get into an airship crash, and you lose all of your Temtem. Oh, no.
Oh.
Not that. You actually get after you do the crash, you get captured, and they take away all your Temtem. So you escape the prison, and some old man gives you like 5 temporary Temtem for you to go use. Yeah. It's
I
weird.
just like hearing you say Temtem over and over.
Temtem.
Gotta get them all.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
This makes
I
me
can't wait
think of
for Pal
South
World.
Park.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon.
Shin Pokemon.
Which is penis in Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And
Oh
then
my God, how did I not realize that?
I wonder if that's a coincidence or not.
No,
Probably, yeah.
They knew
No.
what they were doing.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And then I played some Monster Hunter Rise, and I beat the game. I actually didn't beat the game, but after you get done with a specific quest early on in the game, not super early on, but pretty early on, you get the credits roll. And I'm like, I'm done, yay! But then it opens up another set of quests. You do those, and apparently, according to my friend who has played more of that game than I have, after you get through the 5-star quests, they start opening up like hub quests, and for those quests, you actually need to have another person there, because it just gets too hard to do it as a solo experience.
It sounds like you're not good enough at the game.
I haven't done that, so maybe he's not good enough at the game. And
It
also,
sounds like he's not good enough at the game.
one thing I do like about that game is any monster that you fight that has a tail, you can chop their tail off. And it's a thing that I really like it's just a little subtle thing that they include in the game that I really like, is being
But
able to like dismember the things you're fighting.
Is it like Pal World where you can have the Temtem working in a factory?
We're talking about Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh, I lost track of what you were talking about.
You do not chop off the tails of the Temtems.
Oh,
Why
yeah,
not?
that's what I thought you were talking about.
It works like slowpoke tails.
I completely
I saw the Pal World
lost
thing.
track.
I thought it was like a parody thing at first.
No, it is legit. It's from the people that made Craftopia.
Interesting.
I've heard of that.
I have played Craftopia and I did not like it.
I've been playing it off and on recently, and they've improved it quite a bit.
That's good. But yeah, Pal World
I look
looks
forward to Pal
interesting.
World.
Anyway, and those are really the only two games
Pokemon
I played.
sweatshops.
Yeah, those are the only two games I played. I am probably going to buy something off of the Steam sale and play through that on stream.
Oh yeah,
And
happy
then-
Chinese New Year, everyone.
Yeah, Happy Chinese New Year. I'll probably find
Happy
something on the
Chinese
Steam
New
sale.
Year.
Excuse me, it's Lunar New Year?
Yeah, whatever.
Chinese New Year is racist?
Oh? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Are we
So,
canceled?
I think we're canceled. So I am going to probably find something later today to buy off the Steam sale, go from that, and play that on stream. And then in March, that's when the new wrestling game comes out. So I'll definitely be playing that on stream because I am
Reed will be playing VR Gentlemen's Club.
No, I don't. I think that might be one of those banned games. Anywho, we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about some news stories. Actually, the first one is one that... Actually, the second one is one that is very important to Aroa, or that I talked to Aroa about. But the first one is Dark Souls apparently had some issues with their PvP recently. I don't know if it's back up yet, but there seems to be a big exploit that people were using in PvP to make it so that the hackers could run code on your machine while you're playing Dark Souls. So they disabled the PvP for a bit while they tried to fix that little issue.
Sweet Jesus.
What?
So
It was all three of them, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were all on the same server, as I understand it, or they were using the same function calls. The situation is not nearly as bad as the article's headline would lead you to believe. But
Okay.
yes, there was a massive security vulnerability exploit that was available in all three of the Dark Souls games for PC.
Yeah. And it says here from the article, over the weekend, Namco Bandai notified the Dark Souls community that PvP, a huge time sink for some fans, and an element to avoid at all costs for others, is currently
Me.
just the game in general is a thing to avoid. Is currently offline in the series games on PC, and that there's a good reason an exploit was found after the discovery of an RCE vulnerability within Dark Souls 2 that could be used to run malicious code, and an effort from players to get the powers that be to act swiftly and accordingly. The developers have made the call to pull the PvP servers for Dark Souls, Prepare to Die Edition, Dark Souls Remastered, Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 3 on PC. Officially, these PvP servers are temporarily deactivated on PC, but not on Xbox or PlayStation, to allow the team to investigate recent reports of an issue with online services. So it looks like it's just the PC versions that are affected by this. Do you know what an RCE exploit is, Connor?
I don't know specifically what
Remote
an RCE
code execution.
Oh, okay.
Then yes, I actually do know exactly what that is. I didn't know what the acronym is, but I did understand the basics of how this attack functioned.
Yeah. So happy that they took that offline, and they're speculating in the article because there's a new game coming out called Elden Ring that they're like, I wonder if this is going to have an effect on Elden Ring, which if they all ran on the same servers, that might actually be a thing if they haven't updated the code and they just use the same code for Elden Ring that they use for Dark Souls.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So they hopefully, when they figure this out, they're just able to update it. It's just an update to the server, and that can fix it. And Elden Ring will not have the issues that Dark Souls had. And it does say here in the article from Destructoid that only about 4 people currently know how to do the exploit. And it was
2 of them is I was just going to say the 2 of them were the developers who worked on the game, and 2 of them were watchdogs who were specifically tasked on putting a stop to the cheating that was going on in these games. And they were like, "Oh, y'all have a big exploit here that could be like really malicious." And then the 2 developers looked at it and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we should probably close the gates real fast."
Yeah, so it is actually good that they were able to stop this before it became an issue, because apparently nobody.
There
would
was
use it
one
yet.
streamer, and I think that if one were so inclined, they could go to the link and find out what stream that was.
Yeah.
That were like, yeah, well, here's the exploit, and here's how you could use it. But I think they were only doing it like
They were just having a
lightly.
little goof.
Yeah,
They weren't doing
but
anything major.
But in their goofing, they realized, oh, if one were so inclined, they could do some serious havoc with this.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be bad. We're gonna move on. We're
Actually,
gonna talk.
what?
Oh, what?
No, I was going to say, I actually remember this exact same thing happening in Gary's mod a few years ago.
Oh,
They had to notify everybody to please, for the love of God, turn off your Gary's mod servers and don't play online with anybody you don't know, because there's a remote code execution exploit, and you were able to run arbitrary commands on somebody else's machine through Gary's mod for a little while.
do you
I'm
guys
going to log into your server, and I'm going to put the spray up, and when you get the spray and it loads on server side, it actually turns your machine into a Bitcoin farm.
do you
Yeah.
guys remember BFG computers from like over a decade ago? They were really big.
Vaguely?
Yeah, they were really big in like the late 2000s.
Not
And-
really. Is it like an Alienware or something?
Yeah, it was basically like Alienware. They were a pretty good computer maker, but I remember going to PDX LAN, and they were there and showing off computers and stuff. But they also gave everybody swag bags for going to PDX LAN, and one of the items was from BFG computers, and it's incredibly stupid. You hook up your Ethernet cable into this thing, and then you run another Ethernet cable to your computer. And it's a switch that you can just press the button and it kills the internet connectivity to your computer.
Okay, it was a lag switch.
Yeah.
Well, what it was is their idea was, if somebody starts running malicious code or something, or like a virus is getting installed, you can press the button and it'll kill the internet, so they won't have access to your computer anymore.
I like the idea. I really do. I want one of those hardwired for like one of those easy buttons. Something that I could like really smash when I need to.
Yeah, it was really dumb.
You remember back in the whenever COD 4 was really popular and people were wiring
Like
their
light switches to their routers.
Yeah, they were running their Ethernet cables through a light switch so that they could flick the light switch on and off to make them lag really bad. I thought that's what that was going for.
A buddy of mine in high school used that when we played Halo 2. I always called him a fucking nerd every time that I went to his house. Because it would just be like from his basement, a wire hanging from the ceiling to where he sat and played games with a light switch coming out of it.
That's so weird. Anyway.
I'm not going to name any names, but if I just say you're a fucking nerd, you know who you are.
So they have to listen to this podcast to get that reference, though. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about something that I actually wanted to talk to Aro about, because I think you have AT&T internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is your city one of these cities?
I doubt it.
So AT&T is rolling out multi-gig fiber internet to more than 70 cities. And what they mean by that, and this is from Engadget. So they have the new 2 gig plan is set to start at $110 per month plus tax. And then if you get business fiber, it's $225. But we're not gonna really care about the business part of it.
That ain't us.
While the faster 5 gig plan will cost $180 per month. I mean, I already pay $100 a month for gig internet. I would totally, like, if I was in one of the cities, which I am not, I would totally get the 2 gig internet or just the 5 gig internet, because I am, I'm willing to pay $200 a month for 5 gig internet, even though I have nothing that can take advantage of that.
I'm logging in to the website thing.
It says on the
to
bottom.
find out.
It says on the bottom you can check availability on the landing page here.
Yeah, I put my address in, then it was like, there's already service here. Do you want to modify your current account? So,
Oh,
and I
I
mean, if it's
see.
going to be available, then yes.
I mean, even just upgrading to 2 gig internet would be pretty sweet. Do
Yeah,
you
it
have
looks like. Hmm?
do you have a 2.5 gig card in your computer even?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But that would at least
However,
mean you'd have good.
however, I have a server where I have 2 Ethernet ports that are bonded together.
Oh,
So
nice.
it would be able to take advantage of it.
I would love like this isn't going to be available for me. My internet is my internet is 1 gig by 20 megs up. And I'm like, ugh. And I've been every time I contact my internet service provider, I ask them, I'm like, so, when are you upping it to 300 megs? And they're like, oh, that's gonna be, based on availability in your area and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, cool. Can you make it not shitty? Like even just up it to like 50? Like
No.
no, we don't have that option. Somebody has that fucking option. I know it. I know it's available
Somebody
somewhere.
can turn the fucking knob to the right just a little bit more.
Yeah.
The internet starts flowing through the pipe a little faster to Reeton's house.
I don't understand how you can do 1 gig down, which it normally doesn't run. It runs like at 700 megs, right? But how you can have that, but then they're like, oh no, the upload, we can only make 20 megs. Doesn't make sense. Makes zero sense.
Mine's symmetrical 1 gig. And
Which is good.
Roa.
it weirdly enough, the upload's usually faster than the download.
Nice.
But I do usually sit at like 700-ish down and like 800 to 900 up.
I wonder because Nick Lotus is in a big area. Not to name any
Las
names.
Vegas Metro.
Yeah, I'd imagine if any place was going to be able to get it that any of us live in, it would either be Connor or Nick.
Yeah. So I'm curious. Would you be willing to switch your internet? Like, what do you know what internet you have, or is that something that you're just like you don't pay attention to?
No, we gosh. I would know it if we weren't talking on a podcast right now. I'm totally drawing a blank on it. It's CenturyLink. That's what we have.
Oh God.
Oh no!
Oh,
I'm
no.
so sorry.
Nick Lotus, no. We feel so bad for you.
At least it's not Comcast anymore.
That's true. I'm
Could
just.
be worse.
Oh, that would make sense. So is AT&T not available in your area?
We have AT&T phone service. I don't know about internet because we've never really looked into it. Because our phones are Verizon.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So cell phone service is different because cell phone service is basically everywhere.
Yeah.
But what will happen, and we've spoken about it on the podcast, is say Comcast is in an area, AT&T will just be like, "Oh, Comcast is in that area. We let them have that area, and we will not move in and try to put our internet in that area."
I
And
wouldn't
so
be surprised if Verizon was also the fiber provider there, since it
That,
is
yeah.
such a large area. Because usually it's going to be a thing where like there's only going to be one cable internet provider, one DSL provider, and so on.
Because they don't want competition.
Right.
And someone should make
Yeah.
like a law against that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
whatever.
one of the bigger providers around here is Cox too.
Yeah.
Cox
That makes
Communications is the full name.
yes.
So it's
Yeah.
not getting misinterpreted.
Well, they're also Cox.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, so that makes sense. I just have the one internet. There's a couple other internet service providers here, but there are no. The only cable internet service provider is also going to be the only fiber internet service provider. And
that's
then
not
there's
the case here.
oh, that's good. And then there's another internet service provider who does like the beaming, like they have a tower that beams the internet. And
WiMAX.
no, it's Shore something.
No,
short.
I mean, like, is it WiMAX?
Probably, yeah, something like that. Like it's good-ish, and you can get really good speeds, but you're paying like $1,000 a month if you want symmetrical gig internet. Because I looked into it. So, and the guy was really nice, the salesperson, but I think he stopped contacting me because he was pretty sure that the internet service I wanted wouldn't be accessible for a decent price through their company. So,
And for what it's worth, AT&T, well, for one, no, they don't have 2 and 5 here yet.
oh no.
But for what it's worth, AT&T has been surprisingly good compared to my experience with Spectrum/Charter. Uh, Spectrum would routinely go down for like an hour or two at least once or twice a month, if not every week. And I think I've had internet drop one time since I switched to AT&T last year. And they don't seem to be bothered by any of the things that I do with my internet, in spite of the fact that I have downloaded and or uploaded several terabytes within the span of a month or so. Like they've been pretty great considering how awful the rest of their company is.
My internet, it took me a month, pretty much an entire month to do what I wanted to do. My server PC, the one that I use for streams and stuff, I uploaded all of my stuff on there to Backblaze. So that month I used like 5 terabytes of data uploading all of it to Backblaze. And I did not get contacted by my internet service provider at all for doing that.
Yet. Hasn't been contacted yet.
Well, that was in October, so it's been a while.
It might take them a minute to be like, hey, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. That's a lot of terabytes that you've used.
And on our Q2 review, it looks like one household used up 10% of our usage. That's an insanely high number, but yeah. I digress.
But I would say it's pretty cool. Backblaze is good. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the next story. And the next story is the Steam Deck. Woo!
Hooray.
The Steam Deck.
Consumerism, yes.
Yes, consumerism. So I presume everybody in here has pre-ordered a Steam Deck other than maybe Nicole?
Yeah, I know I haven't.
I don't know
your husband?
What purpose Nicole
I don't
would
think
have.
so.
Okay.
I bought the Steam controllers back in the day.
I have one.
And I'm kind of just wary of Valve products after that because I've never been able to get a Steam controller to consistently work.
See, I had no problems with the Steam controller being a controller. I mean,
it might just be user error, but
yeah, it's just not. It wasn't as good as I think they wanted it to be, and they do have kind of a history of launching hardware products and then just letting them die. They had
the Bluetooth functionality on the Steam controller leaves something to be desired. I will admit. If you can't plug that dongle in so that it goes over their proprietary 2.4 gigahertz whatever, you'll probably play hell getting it to work. I have had to spend hours trying to get it to work with my Apple TV. So
I have a PS5 controller that I've been using over Bluetooth for my computer, and it works really well. What were you going to say, Connor?
I am surprised to hear all this. I had no issues with my Steam Deck controller. I played through the entirety of Metal Gear Solid 5 with it.
But
I mean, maybe it wasn't the optimal, but it worked just fine.
Did you
were
use
you doing
the dongle?
that using? Yeah, did you have the dongle or were you?
I was actually using the Steam Deck, not the Steam Deck, the whatever their portable streaming device was.
The Steam Link.
The Steam Link.
The Link has the antenna built in,
and it worked just fine with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Link will still connect over that proprietary connection instead of Bluetooth.
That makes sense.
So that is probably why you didn't have much trouble. Though I will also admit I didn't have a lot of trouble using it with the Steam Link either. So like it could also just be that
Yeah, that's what I
I
was
know
going to say though.
sensationalism makes for better news, but it
Yeah.
worked fine for me.
That's what I was going to say though, is they have a history of kind of letting their hardware products die. You have the Steam Link, which doesn't
Yeah.
exist
Womp
anymore. You have the remembers Steam PCs?
Womp womp.
The Steam controller.
Womp
They
womp.
don't sell those anymore. And was there any other Steam hardware products? And obviously they let their franchises die. Team Fortress 2, Portal 2,
Left 4 Dead
Left 4 Dead. Like they have not
2.
released, other than what, Half-Life Alyx?
Half-Life
haven't
Alyx is
released-
the first game that Valve has released that I'm willing to talk about in I don't even know how long.
Like 10
Was
years?
Boneworks any good? I never picked it up actually.
Well, Boneworks wasn't Valve, but Boneworks
Really?
is very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was I thought
Nope.
that was the
No.
well, never mind.
They tried really, really hard to make it a Half-Life game, in terms of aesthetic and everything, but it is not. It is, however, a very good game, and you should really pick it up.
I've heard good things about it. But I can understand the hesitation that Nick Lotus is having with getting a Steam Deck. That being said, I have the biggest one reserved.
Yeah, me
because-
too.
Yeah. And I think Connor went middle of the road.
I've got the middleest one because I don't feel the need to overcompensate.
Mine was just I wanted the slightly bigger hard drive. And I felt that
I
it
need to
was worth it.
overcompensate.
Yeah. And I am curious, when you log in to that page, has it changed? Because apparently the Steam Deck is supposed to launch February 25th, and mine hasn't changed from Q2 2022.
Yeah, mine says after Q2 2022.
That's what mine says. What about yours, Connor? Has yours
Actually,
changed?
I'm
And I
in the
wonder
middle
if
of
that's
looking it
just
up right now.
they haven't
No.
updated it yet, or if we're just not getting it until after that.
While Connor's looking at that, Nathan, when did you reserve yours?
A couple days, I think it was a day or two late.
Like it'll say it on the page if you're on there.
Oh, let me go
Because
there.
Mine says
Steam.
Friday, July 16th, 2021.
Oh damn, you got like an actual. Where does it say that? Oh yeah, it does say that. Sunday, July 18th, and mine is after Quebec to 2022.
Let me log in real quick. Oh,
Why-
I'm logging in.
Log in.
Yeah, I had to log in.
Why are you not logged into Steam?
Reserved on Sunday, July 18th.
Nice. So I'm gonna get mine first.
Yeah, barely.
Theoretically,
Maybe. When did
Hey,
you
2
you
whole
reserve?
days?
The 16th?
July 16th. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
I'm
think
gonna get mine 2 days before you guys.
that's
maybe.
gonna work.
and I think AirFox reserved his like the moment that they became available. And I think that might have been why I waited until Sunday. Because
I remember Steam was just not available for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think AirFox was one of the ones that got reserved earlier, but I think also his is saying Q2 2022. So
They probably just haven't put in a solid date, and it'll just be whenever your specific reservation has an actual ship date, they'll put it in there.
that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. So it still says after Q2 2022 for me. I'm getting the one that has the 512 gigs of storage. And then it has a bunch of other stuff. Like you get an exclusive keyboard theme, guys. You didn't want to pay an extra $120 for an exclusive keyboard theme?
I'm also just going to point out that the 16th was the first day you could reserve.
Oh, and that's when you reserved.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We're
and
all
it
very
still
proud of
says
you.
that. Good job. I'm proud. We're all proud that you were able to get in and
I am
reserve
the
it
biggest
early.
consumer whore. Me.
Yes. And our last story is actually kind of dumb. I think it has to do with some EU regulations that are going around. And Microsoft will stop billing dormant Game Pass members after 2 years.
Microsoft is being required to stop billing dormant Xbox Game Pass users after
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah, so what happens, and I'm sure this is kind of how Patreon works, right? Or any of those subscription services. You pay such a little amount that you don't really notice that the money is going away every month, and you just forget about it. This is why Spoonie still has like $600 a month on Patreon.
It still blows my mind that that's such a widespread problem, that there's a cottage industry of apps that will scan your bank account for regular transactions and then tell you what subscriptions you have.
Yeah. And so they're trying to crack down on it. And it says here, it's all too easy from, again, Engadget. It's all too easy for some folks to sign up for a service, pay a subscription fee every month, and forget all about it. With that in mind,
I
Microsoft...
wish I made enough money to where I could just be like, where's that $10 a month going? Where's
Yeah.
it going?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
nice.
definitely would notice if something was like, "Hey, by the way, you owe us $15 a month." I'd be, no,
It's not too bad. So pay a
Mr.
You don't get
Moneybags.
to, you don't get to say it.
I have a 3D printed house. My name is Nathan.
I wish. No, I have a manufactured home. Thank you very much.
Basically the same thing.
Pay a subscription fee every month, forget all about it. With that in mind, Microsoft is tackling the issue of inactive Game Pass memberships. As part of a broader changes to Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass in the UK, the company says it will cancel subscriptions that have been laying dormant. The company will get in touch with people who are paying for an Xbox Live Gold or Game Pass subscription but haven't used it for at least a year. So they are going to send out messages and be like, "Hey, cancel if you're not going to play it." It'll tell them how to stop their payments.
It's been a year. You haven't logged out yet. Oh no.
Yeah,
No, don't stop using our service.
Yeah, it'll tell them how to stop the payments if they want to opt out. If those people keep forking over cash every month without using their memberships for another 12 months, Microsoft will eventually stop taking payments. This change will apply to UK consumers at first. Microsoft told The Verge it'll roll them out globally in the near future. It's got to be a UK regulation.
It definitely is.
It is.
Yeah, it says in the
it's
next
part
paragraph.
of a voluntary agreement with the country's Competition and Markets Authority.
And this happens a lot where governments will say, "Hey, we're going to start doing this thing." And then the companies will be like, "We don't want to be regulated to do that, so we're just going to change some stuff so you don't put that regulation in."
Yeah, like the ESRB.
The ESRB, and then there was
the entirety of the ESA.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the Stop Bezos Act, which was something that Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna were trying to get passed. And what that would have done is it would have made it so that if a company has employees that are working like full-time but still have to get food stamp benefits, then those food stamp benefits would actually be taxed to the employer. So that, like, say you're getting $500 a month in food stamps because you have kids and stuff, and you're working at Amazon then would be taxed additionally $500 a month because they're not paying their people enough. And so that's when Bezos was like, "Oh, we're raising our wages. It's going to be $15 an hour starting. Yay, we're the best. Please don't do that. We don't want you to do that." So they do it a lot. And that seems like what's happening now is the UK was like, we're going to do something to regulate this. And I would be surprised if other companies didn't start the same policies with canceling subscription services after 2 years if they haven't used that service, like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that. Which is good. I would say that it's a good thing. What are your guys' thoughts?
Whatever. Seems like I'm like the most minimum of minimum things. I feel like they just should automatically not charge you for a month if you don't play any games on your account that month.
Yeah. But they'd lose a lot of money if they like.
Yeah.
I imagine the person at Microsoft who had to make this announcement and it is like, and at this time I will no longer be taking any more questions. He walks into his office and you could see from the silhouette him taking his hat off and stomping on it.
Yeah, money.
This is what's the bear like if you're sitting down with the EU and they're like, okay, well, what's the longest we can go without telling them? And they're like, I don't know, a year. Okay, a year. We'll quote you on that. And what's the longest before we could before we have to stop getting their money? They're like, I don't fucking another year, and they're like, gotcha, 2 years.
Yeah, that's probably
That's what
what
this
it
all
was.
feels like.
Because I think a year would be fine, because there are some times you have a subscription service and you don't use it, but you're gonna use it. Like the next month, you're gonna use it for Squid Game or something on Netflix.
Jonathan died of COVID in 2019, and his grandmother's been footing the bill now in 2021 still.
Yeah, but I think that a year would be good to just cancel that service. And having 2 years is a bit much. I think 1 year would have been probably enough to, if you haven't used it in a year, then get rid of it.
I think Aroa's answer of 1 month is the correct answer. I think I would even say like the ethical answer would be like 3 months. I get it. Sometimes I'm busy and I can't play a game for a month. And you know, if it's something that you're paying for, maybe it'd be smarter to cancel it or something like that. But a year, 2 years, even.
Subscription services bread and butter are forgetful people like me.
Yeah. Well, and I do like the way that Final Fantasy 14 does it. They don't cancel your service. They'll still get that money, but the director has come out and said, "Hey man, if you're going and you're not going to play it for a few months, just cancel the subscription and come back when you can."
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I like having the option to pause subscription services. That's becoming more common now, and it's really nice.
That
Yeah.
too, yeah.
The humble choice, I keep considering canceling it, but then I'm like, oh, well, they offer a pause option. I guess I'll do that.
That's
So-
nice. But like Humble Choice kind of sucks. You can't even use Linux or Mac distros anymore on it.
Yeah, I want to see like if they're going to give me anything for still having the classic thing after all this time. Whenever they make that transition over into the original version of what Humble Choice was, but
Well,
I
and
would not be
we
surprised
spoke
if
about that
they
last
disappoint me again.
we spoke about that last week, but you weren't here. And from what I remember, it's not that they're getting rid of the Linux and Mac for the future. It's even the stuff that you had previously is going to be gone.
Yeah, they're not going to be offering Mac OS and Linux binaries in general.
I think that's dumb. But anyway,
And they've also long dropped their pretense for offering DRM-free versions of most of the games that they sell. GOG is now once again the only place where you can get that.
And they're losing money.
And honestly, like I would say for the most part, like if you want to support indie devs, go to itch. Itch is the way to go.
We've spoken about that, yeah.
I know.
Itch.io.
But, yeah.
But anyway, that's our stories for the day. And I would like to thank my members here. Nick Lotus, thank you for showing up.
Thank you. I apologize that I had some spans of absence there.
That's okay. You have a you have a
That's
child.
fine.
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old who is currently refusing to leave my lap, and then I also got a phone call in the middle of this, so apologies for that. My little star. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, Roa.
I was here.
And thank you for being here, Connor.
Yeah.
And we will be back next week with more video game and tech news. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah.